All right, I guess this is just going to be a brief little follow-up to last night. I thought we would have a lot more to talk about following tonight's post-Survivor Series Raw, but as it turns out, we really didn't learn a whole lot until the very end. A nice little swerve at the very end of the show, but as far as how TLC is shaping up, really nothing is set yet. The Authority, of course, is no longer in power. We started out tonight on Raw with the Authority coming out, Stephanie and Triple H, and it was basically their farewell address. Stephanie was great. She was so overdramatic and so crazy, and she vowed that this is not over. They will be back. They will find a way back in, to the WWE's inner circle, and basically they just went out there to be humiliated. Now, we did not see Sting tonight, although Triple H did mention him in the promo, that he came in and he stared him down. Now, I guess there's no rush for this thing. The WWE can take it slow. If this, in fact, is going to be a WrestleMania match, then they have plenty of time and no need to rush it, and I'm sure we will see Sting and Triple H in the same ring together again, and it'll be interesting to see where it leads and what kind of match it's going to be, and if they do have one, if there's going to be stipulations involved, and if anything, as far as the control of the company goes, will be involved as well. And John Cena, since he seems to be so involved in this, and he seems to be controlling some people's destiny here or there, it'll be interesting to see if he sticks his nose in the Sting business too. So we didn't learn anything on the Sting front. He wasn't there, didn't appear, and hopefully we'll see him again real soon, because I got to tell you, I marked out for it. It was great to see him show up in the WWE last night. And as far as who was going to be in charge for tonight's Monday Night Raw, they decided to appoint someone, and that someone was Daniel Bryan. Now, when Daniel Bryan came out to the ring, I wasn't expecting that. I don't know if any of you were. I don't know if it broke online prior to the show, but I had no idea he was going to be there. So the fact that he came out there, and given his history with the two of them, how they were fucking with him in the beginning of the year in WrestleMania 30 and all of that, it was really cool to kind of see him doing the yes chant right in their face and rubbing it in nice and good. The fans were going nuts, and Triple H and Stephanie went out there and they got humiliated, and I liked it. And I also don't think it's going to be the last we ever see of them, but I definitely liked what they did, and it was great to see Daniel Bryan. At least he's there doing something. So basically, Daniel Bryan, what he does is he calls out the remaining Authority members, the Kane, Seth Rollins, the security members, all of that, and makes a bunch of matches for later on in the night. He also took Kane and made him a concession stand manager, which was funny. He called him Concessions Kane. And he had to go out in the arena and sell food to the fucking people. It was pretty funny. Then he made Rusev come out there and say the Pledge of Allegiance in front of everybody with the American flag. He booked Rollins in a match where the fans get to decide Rollins' two partners to take on Ziggler and Cena. And one of the choices for his partners were Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble, who is known now, I guess, as J&J Security. He also made Luke Harper defend the Intercontinental title against Dean Ambrose, and he put Mark Henry in a match with Ryback. So Daniel Bryan was out to finish the job on the Authority. So before we get to the main event, the first thing they show is Triple H and Stephanie and Vince McMahon leaving the arena. They get in a limo and leave, and before they have a conversation, Vince McMahon says how disappointed he is in them, and they've really let him down big time, and they need to fix this. It's just so fucking stupid, because hello, Vince, if you're that disappointed in them, why the fuck did you put them in that situation to begin with? If you don't like this any better than they did, this was easily avoidable. All you had to do was not make that stipulation, you fucking idiot. So the storyline to me just seems dumb, because Vince is like, oh, you really let me down. Well, it was kind of your doing, Vince. You put him in that position. But anyway, that's beside the point. It'll be interesting to see how all of the McMahons get factored back into the equation, because John Cena apparently is the only guy that can bring the Authority back. Only he can hire them back. So obviously, I guess what they're going to have to do is probably have a match where if John Cena loses, he has to rehire the Authority. But he's also got a rematch with Brock coming up. And I was hoping that some questions were going to be answered as to when that match was going to take place and what was going to happen at TLC. I think it's all up in the air at this point. I guess he could possibly face Brock Lesnar. Maybe we'll find that out next week. Or John Cena could be in a match that could bring the Authority back. Who knows? Now, in the main event, of course, the fans are going to vote in Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. They won by like 94% or something like that. So they're going to be Seth Rollins' tag team partners. And it's a handicap match against Cena and Ziggler. And really, nothing was answered and nothing really crazy happened in the match. We still did not see Randy Orton. It looks like WWE is just holding him off until they're ready to bring him back. There's really no rush. And the finish just saw John Cena and Dolph Ziggler simultaneously pinning J&J Security, and that was it. It was kind of a lame finish. And then at the very end of the show, when Ziggler and John Cena and Daniel Bryan, who had come out to the ring to celebrate with them, and the fans were going, yes, 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 then the chime goes off, the old computer email noise that drove us fucking crazy years ago, and guess what? The goddamn computer is back as the GM of Raw. Now, this podium apparently was sitting out there, so the fans in the audience must have known it was there. I didn't see it at all throughout the night, so they must have put it out there before the main event. So I guess the fans were going to be clued in on the spoiler there, but when that happened, I was like, seriously? So now we have to start this speculation all over again? Who is behind the computer? Who is the anonymous general manager? Is it Stephanie and Triple H? Were they the anonymous general manager the first time around? Is that all going to be explained now? Who knows? And what was with the crazy ending? Did they botch that or something? The email notification just kept going off over and over and over and over as if the anonymous GM was sending them, 30 emails at once. The lights were flickering, the whole thing was going haywire, and the show just went off the air. So that I kind of liked, because I was saying to myself, what the fuck was that? Is the Raw GM crazy? What was the purpose, of going overboard with the noise and the lights and all of that? So there might be something behind that. I don't know. Michael Cole really didn't announce anything. According to the email, just order was going to be restored next week on Raw. They really didn't say anything about if this anonymous GM was going to be revealed or not, but it looks like they might actually be going back to the computer, and we're going to have to go through this shit all over again until they either decide to explain who's behind the computer or they drop the whole fucking thing again. So I don't really think people were all that happy that the anonymous GM is back, but, to me, I guess I don't mind it. At least keeps us guessing. At least it keeps us speculating on, who could be behind it and what the WWE is going to do. Who knows? But yeah, not the greatest thing, they could have done, but they're going with it, and I guess we'll learn a lot more next week, and hopefully, this will be a little bit different. Maybe this will be a little bit more fun, because after, the first week, it's going to get very old, hearing that computer going off, several times during Raw, and Michael Cole sitting his dumb ass up there and reading this shit, it gets old and it wears thin quick. So hopefully they won't let it get to that point, and maybe this anonymous GM angle can be something good. Let's at least keep our fingers crossed. I know I'm optimistic, but I'm in an optimistic mood tonight. Now, as far as the rest of Raw, it wasn't really that great of a show, but I didn't completely hate it. It was good to see Bryan there. At least they were doing something different with the Authority not being in power anymore, and you were kind of wondering and speculating, and, there was a lot of things that happened on the show that I did like with Damien Mizdow and The Miz retaining their titles and their title defense against the Rhodes Brothers. That was great. Mizdow is entertaining as a motherfucker. I was cracking up when he came out there with the two toy belts, because the Miz gets to carry the real belts, and Mizdow has to carry the toy belts, and he's even mimicking his promos. I don't even know how long he's been doing that, but I noticed it on the pre-show. The Miz cuts a promo, and Sandow is lip-syncing the whole thing. It's just unbelievable how good he is at this, and I think he's the hottest wrestler in WWE right now. He definitely gets the biggest reaction. And like I said last night in my Survivor Series reaction video, it's only a matter of time before these guys break up. They're already teasing the tension. Miz is already hogging the spotlight. It's only going to be a matter of time before Mizdow gets fed up and we have a split, and, who knows? I mean, they could hold the titles for a while. I like the team. The team is over, but you can clearly see the direction they're going here, and it's just a question of when they decide to do the split. Luke Harper, luckily, held on to the Intercontinental title. I don't think I would have wanted to see Dean Ambrose win the title. He really doesn't need it right now. He's locked in this feud with Bray Wyatt. He's already been U.S. champion before. The Intercontinental title, I think it doesn't really have a place in the feud. They don't need to feud over the belt. There's enough bad blood in that feud with Wyatt that they don't need it. And plus, they just put the belt on Luke Harper, and I don't want to see him lose it right after he wins it. So there was a disqualification or something, basically a really lame finish. But Bray Wyatt does wind up attacking Dean Ambrose, and of course, this is setting up their big match that is announced. I believe it's the only one that is announced for TLC next month. Also, Ryback completely squashed Mark Henry. Mark Henry is put in this match with Ryback as punishment, and Ryback, I guess, is going to get revenge for his loss to Mark Henry a couple of WrestleManias ago. I don't know, but it didn't take Ryback long to dispose of Mark Henry, and wow, Mark Henry, it's just, they're so up and down with these guys. Same thing with the Big Show. One minute they're jobbers, next minute they're getting world title shots. You just don't know. So I guess right now, Mark Henry is going to be made to look like a piece of shit every week on TV until the WWE turns him back babyface for the 175th time. Speaking of Big Show, he came out there and cut a lame-ass promo, said that he was sorry and he made a mistake and the fans should forgive him and they should have respect for him, and got all heelish on the mic. And the whole time I'm sitting there, nervous as hell, and I'm thinking to myself, shit, does this mean we're going to get John Cena versus the Big Show? They're going to give us this fucking feud again. These guys are going to work TLC. So the fact that Eric Rowan came and interrupted Big Show's promo, it was a huge sigh of relief for me. Thank God. Now, I don't know what kind of feud these guys are going to have, but Rowan is a younger guy that they're trying to push. Big Show will probably do the honors for him, and it might be a way to help, elevate Eric Rowan a little bit, and I'm fine with it. Brie Bella also had a match with AJ Lee. Now, Brie and Nikki are seemingly back together. Nikki is the new Divas champion. She won the title in like 30 seconds last night at Survivor Series. AJ now is going to face Brie, and AJ comes out to the ring and cuts a promo on the two of them and says, "Let's be honest," which is fucking hilarious, I guess, in response to Brie Bella slapping the big kiss on her at Survivor Series. Pretty funny little non-PG one-liner there that I really liked. She eventually got in the ring and lost to Brie and cut a promo on the Bella Twins at the end, and there's still the rumors that she could be out of the WWE. Maybe this was the last time we see AJ in the WWE, at least for a little while. I don't know. I don't know where those rumors stand, but if this was in fact one of her last appearances in the WWE, I wish her and CM Punk nothing but the best. Also last night, I forgot to mention the return of Fandango. I guess he returned to the Survivor Series and beat Justin Gabriel. He beat him again on Monday Night Raw. He's kind of got a new look now, a new outfit. He's wrestling in a shirt, and now he's got Rosa Mendez as his dancer or his backup dancer or whatever the fuck. So I don't know. And they changed his music. By God, how dumb was that? The only thing about the guy that fans seemed to like was the music because they could sing along with it. It got over for a while. It was the only thing about him that was even remotely popular. And then they change it, and this new music doesn't seem nearly as easy to sing along with as his previous music. So I don't know. I don't see anything special in this new and improved Fandango. I don't think it's really going to be that great at all. So I'm pretty much going to wrap it up. I just wanted to do a quick one tonight. I'm very tired, and I just wanted to follow up a little bit on last night. Unfortunately, like I said, we didn't learn a whole lot about TLC. It looks like more information will come in next week after Raw, and of course there's that big Vince McMahon, Stone Cold podcast that's going to take place as well. That'll be interesting. So hopefully, next week they'll give us a little bit more. I purposely did not mention Larry the Cable Guy tonight on Raw because I think that guy's a fat piece of shit, and I thought his segment on Raw was dumb, and it's not worth mentioning. Although one thing that is worth mentioning, during Raw, the verdict came in the Ferguson case that they will not be indicting the cop that shot and killed Michael Brown. And, of course, it's enraged a lot of people, and there's probably some violence and some rioting that's going on there. And if anybody's living there, I just want to let you know that I'm thinking about you. Be safe, be careful. Violence and rioting and looting and all of that nonsense is not the answer. It's not going to fix the problem. I know it's unfair. I know it sucks. I know, unfortunately, today in 2014 that racism still exists, and I do understand that if that kid would have been white, he might be alive today. I completely understand that argument, and you're 100% right. But violence and, threatening other people's lives is not the answer there. But I definitely understand the frustration. I've been through this before. I saw it 20 years ago with Rodney King. There was huge riots in L.A., and a lot of people were injured, and some lost their lives, and it was bad. And I hate that in today's day and age, when things seem so progressive in some parts of the country, we can also have places where, there's a racial divide that is just as strong as ever, and that's a shame. I want to live in a world where everybody is viewed as a person, not as a black person, a Mexican person, a white person, an Asian person, just a person. And I will be happy if we can ever get to that. But unfortunately, I doubt we will see that in my lifetime. So I feel for the family of the victim, the kid that was killed. I know they must be pissed off. I definitely feel their pain. I feel their anger, and they are right to be upset. And it's fucked up that we have to live in a world where shit like this still happens. It really upsets me. It makes me mad. But that's all I'm going to say about it. Not going to get into a rant or a rave about it because there's going to be plenty of it reported on the news, and everybody's going to be fucking talking about it, and it's going to be all over the place. But I did see the headline come across while I was watching Raw, and just like all of you, I understand the injustice. It is bullshit, and it sucks. So, GoodMicWork will be signing off. I probably won't be back up here until next week after Raw. Maybe I'll throw something at you this week. I am working on a pay-per-view review and another mailbag segment, but I don't think either one of those will be ready by this week, so it could be a full week before you hear from me again. But if anything breaks in the wrestling industry that needs to be commented on right away, I'll come up and talk about it. So you guys have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.